about us. Think about you leaving.
What's going on, everybody? I hope there was at least a few people to see that. See, are we live? Let's see, we are live on Instagram. Okay, we're gonna let a few people come in here. I see Luann's in here. Luann, what's going on? Okay, just double checking everything. Roel, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Happy early 4th to everybody. See, we got a couple in there. Shelly, Jen, Harmon, Party of 6, Candy, what's up? Good to see you, Candy. We'll let a few people come in here. Linda, what's up? Happy 4th. Stan, hello, hello. Great question, Luann. I'm pumped about that. Ivy, what's up? Great to see you. I'm looking forward to. I need to get up to the Tri-Cities here shortly. B Parker, you know, this is a new name, Bianca, I believe, over on YouTube. Great to see you. Thanks for hanging out over there. We're gonna let a few more people come in. Let's see here. We got a few people on Instagram. What's up, guys? All right. Courtney, what's up? Good evening to you. If you're new here, let us know. Let us know where you're at, where you're residing right now. I'm over in East Tennessee. I'm in North Knoxville, the North Knoxville office. Real quick, I'm going to get this up here. I'll put this up throughout the show, just as a reminder to patients. We are closed July 3rd through the 5th, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to celebrate the 4th. So I'll just kind of remind everybody every once in a while. I did get a little bit of a little nudge to run a special on the 4th for vitamins. You guys know we have an online vitamin store, performancemedicine.net/shop. If you guys like vitamins, if that's your thing, we'll be running a special most likely on the 4th. Coal miner's daughter, what's up? Clintwood. Where is Clintwood? Out of curiosity. I will, Roel. I didn't realize that. I need to get up on my news there. I will be praying for you guys. Apparently there's a hurricane down there in Texas. All right, Angie, what's up? Great to see you. Thank you for hanging out as always. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope everybody gets to rest a little bit, relax, have fun. Allison, what's up? Happy 4th to you. Hope everybody over there at the Blake's doing wonderful. Thank you. We had a few videos go up today on the YouTube channel. Shout out to the video team for getting these up. In a new episode of Explain This with Robin Riddle, who's our nurse practitioner over in the West Knoxville office, talks about progesterone, synthetic versus bioidentical. This was, we've done a video on progesterone before with Robin. This was a different type of video around progesterone. So she really gets into the weeds on progesterone, synthetic versus bioidentical, the different forms, uses, how she uses it in office. So we talk about progesterone a lot on this show. So if you want to dive deeper, this is a great episode for you. Robin does a great job of explaining how she uses progesterone with her patients. So thank you, Robin, for that. Hope you guys get a lot of value out of it. And over on Dive Into Diet, nutrition coach Lucas Schmidt, who you can find in the Johnson City location, talks about how to get in a caloric deficit without using willpower. I love that tagline, team. Thank you, guys. That's cool. And that's kind of the kicker. I guess the point of that episode is it's very hard to lose weight without going into a caloric deficit. And Lucas gives some really cool strategies for doing that without feeling like you're, lacking or, starving yourself. I do well with his mentality here. I don't do well with oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. I like the way he talks in that episode, so I hope you guys will check that out. Cherry, what's up? Thank you, Roel. I agree. I agree. We're our intros and outros are getting a little are getting cooler. We're just getting cool. I think Doc is getting ready. He's almost ready. We got some Instagram people. Positive vibes. I see you over on Instagram. Thank you. Great question. We will get to that. Love the Clomid questions. That's a great question. We will get to that in just a second. We got a few that came in throughout the week. I see Brandon's in here too as well. He probably left already. Brandon comes in for like a second. Let's see. Is Doc ready to roll?
Hey, Ben.
Are you trying to make me laugh with your attire?
You need a hat. I found this hat this weekend. I was actually a chauffeur this weekend. And so I bought this hat while I chauffeured people up and down the mountain. Four-wheeler.
Did you get any comments?
Everybody seemed to like it. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I think it kind of suits you.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of an homage to my brother Andy, who's over in Paris right now. It's very French of you.
That's right.
It's a French look. Yeah. So if he's watching, no idea what time it is over there.
He's actually what I would call a free man in Paris. Did you ever hear that song by Joni Mitchell?
No.
Classic song. I loved that song when I was in college.
I don't know that you did a great job with me educating me on some of these, classic rock bands. You're like such a big rock fan, and I feel like I didn't learn anything from you growing up with
you didn't
rock and roll.
want anything to do with it. I couldn't force it on you, but now you're paying the price. You were listening to rap music and this stuff when you were growing up. So
well, rap and Amy Grant, little I guess two extremes there, but I love me some Amy Grant, some Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah, I love it.
Some DC.
I'm gonna take my hat off because I'm usually not used to wearing it.
All right, guys. Thank you, Tom. If you guys got a question for Doc, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to get to every single one tonight. Happy early 4th to everybody. Rachel, what's up? Happy early 4th to you. Let's see here. Roel loves the Fender shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a Gibson shirt too, and a Gretsch. My next guitar, I'm thinking about buying a PRS. If anybody knows anything about it, a really good classic American-made PRS guitar. They're the prettiest guitars. So
I see April's over on Instagram. April is our regional manager for the Knoxville area, and she likes my rap and Amy Grant combo because that's literally, I don't know a better way of describing my musical taste as a teenager. Was probably Bone Thugs and Harmony and Amy Grant.
Bone Thugs? Never heard of that.
Come on. Okay. Enough of that. We're going to get to some questions, guys.
Let's get to the medical.
Yeah, let's get to it. We're going to start with we had a couple great questions come in through email. Thank you, guys. Let's see here. Let's start with this one. I love it because it started with Dr. Axe. I heard Dr. Axe say to be sure to take D with K and magnesium together. Do you think he just meant to be sure to take them both and not necessarily at the exact same time? I have been taking both for 4 years now, but not the same time as I like to take the magnesium at night.
Yeah, I always think you should take magnesium at night. So I'm not sure about if that has any credence at all. I don't take them together. The fact that you get D with K is very important, and take your magnesium at night. So usually, vitamin D and K, that's a fat soluble vitamin. So you need to take it with food. It works better. So if you're like me, I don't eat at night. So I don't want to take it at night, but I do want to take my magnesium at night because it's not fat soluble. So, I need to send a note to Dr. Axe explaining that to him.
I love that. I hope that helps. Great question too. I think that's a really fun question. Okay, this next one here, and then we're going to get to live questions. 2+ years of BHRT cream as pellet is not an option for me. Knowledgeable provider. Never forget to miss. Okay, gotcha. And on serum test, my estradiol still always just shows around 30, even though we have continued to increase for the entire time. Progesterone and testosterone are always good. Did a Dutch test and it shows estradiol perfectly in the middle of the premenopausal range. What are your thoughts? And then I'll give you a little more context if you need it.
Yeah, I love that question. That's a great question, something I deal with all the time. But yeah, I do serum test. I also do salivary test, especially if I have a question about, I'm using a pretty good dose of estradiol and are biased, and I can't seem to get the levels where I want them of the estrogen. And a lot of times what I'll do before I keep popping your dose up is check a salivary test. And because really for creams, if you look at the literature, a lot of the experts say, when you do creams, you should always do salivary tests. I haven't found that to be necessarily true because I like serum tests. They're easier, they're cheaper. And, it's usually a pretty good representation of what's in your system and your blood. I mean, look at every other blood test we do that we rely on. But a lot of times I will find that for estrogen, usually progesterone, testosterone, they're very accurate, but sometimes the estradiol range will be lower than I think it is. And so I'll get I've done a lot of Dutch tests too, but I'll just do a salivary female hormone, and usually it's pretty adequate. So then I'll rely on that, and I'll start doing that on that particular patient. That's not every patient. It's not really a real common patient, but that's a great question, and that's exactly what you should have done: salivary or a Dutch test, and which is looking at metabolites. So you're probably on a pretty good dose of it. So, but that's a great thing to point out. Really good. Another thing that, you're talking about taking D with magnesium, which I don't think is true. One thing that I've been telling people that you should do, if you take your progesterone orally, which is the only oral hormone that I really use much of, then if you take vitamin E with it, it really enhances the absorption of the progesterone. I even take a small dose of progesterone to prevent aromatization of testosterone to estrogen. So I take a low dose of progesterone. Even as a man, you can do that. Men need some progesterone as well. But taking and what I take is the gamma E with mixed tocopherols, which is a mixture of all the vitamin E forms. And I have the alpha form, or the D form, which is natural, of the E that I have included in my multivitamin. So I take both. So I'm getting some in my super multi of the natural form of E, the D alpha, not the DL alpha. If it has L in there, don't take it. But then at night, I take the gamma E with mixed tocopherols. I get that one from Life Extension, and I take that with progesterone. So got an out of the way answer, but yeah, that's exactly right. I think you did the right thing.
And this is just a little more context. Would you assume I'm getting still adequate levels, but just someone like you mentioned last week that doesn't show accurately with serum testing? Current dosage is 4 milligrams per day.
Yeah, that's a good dose. Yeah.
Perfect. Great question there. Thank you for teeing us up with that. We love talking about kind of these different strategies around hormones. One other thing I want to mention, and the team can get this up for me, is oxalates. One, because you did a Common Sense MD episode on this today, and I kind of want to know, like, what got you on oxalates? Like, why did you create this episode today?
Oxalates, because we were going over them at one of my conferences recently.
So that's why?
Yeah. I'm going to do one next week I'm going to have a really good one next week on something called MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome. But yeah, it just perked. I've been meaning to do one for a long time on oxalates, but it was in the conference, so I just decided to, that people need to know about oxalates. Because I just ate a spinach salad tonight full of oxalates, but I'm one that's okay with oxalates. A lot of people aren't, especially if you tend to.
Can
What
I just
in the world was that? I thought we were on the wrong channel or something.
can you guys
Put that in
one
there.
huge shout out to the video team. Did y'all like that? What was that? What did y'all think of that? That was like a lot.
I may fire the video team for that because I didn't know it was coming. I didn't have any idea. Are those the foods that are okay to eat? Was that what the
Yes.
list was?
Yes.
Because I was kind of blown out by the guitar playing. I was blown out by the guitar playing.
For the low oxalate one. Did you guys like that? The people who are listening on the podcast didn't see, but we had a really cool visual there on the live show. Look at this. Robin loves it. Connie loves it. Carter's in here.
I'm not sure I loved it. I don't know if I'm voting thumbs up or thumbs down on that. I mean, I had no idea what you were doing. I thought we lost the channel and everything.
Oh no. That was part of the show. We're trying to spruce it up a little bit. We got
spice that up a little bit. But
Ryan's in here. Ryan's in the green one. We're sprucing it up a bit.
I like to see what Ryan awesome. Ryan probably liked the guitar work on it, but
look at this. Tom thought it was very informative. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, team, for putting that in there for us. I will work on my timing with that. We'll work on my timing.
May have been off. I wish you'd have let me know it was coming.
I did not let Doc know it was coming, so that was a complete surprise to him. So anyways, it threw Stan a curve. Okay, I'm with you. It was a curveball.
It was definitely a curveball. Maybe we'll do it again in another 2 years or so. Do it when Andy's doing. Maybe do it when Andy's doing the Q&A.
I loved it. Huge shout out to the video team. Thank you guys for that. I see Winnie B's in here.
Probably took a lot of work to do it. So
Winnie B, what's going on? I went to the Johnson City Clinic today. I'm sure you saw Rachel over there. I mean, we've got some of our Johnson City crew in the building tonight. So shout out to the Johnson City office. Okay, let's keep moving, guys. Where are we at? We're going to go to live questions here, I believe. And if I missed you in my email, I apologize. I got a little backed up on it. You can email me if you want your question to be anonymous. You can email me, and I will get that. I'll be on the lookout for it. You saw Brittany, sweet. I love it. Yes, Connie, we'll get you that list of foods. It was it's in an article we put out today on performancemedicine.net. Those list of foods that are good for a low oxalate diet. Anything else you want to say about oxalates? One, I just found it was interesting. People with, who are prone to kidney stones, people who are, have autoimmune diseases, you might want to stay away from some of the, seemingly healthy foods that are high in oxalates. It's
just a real interesting subject to me. I mean, if you can't figure out what's wrong with you, you think it's your diet, look at oxalates. You may want to cut them out of your diet and see if you feel better from a lot of different maladies, but especially kidney stones and maybe a lot of digestive disorders, leaky gut makes the oxalates worse. So, and again, usually the answer is straighten your gut out. But anyway,
All right, I want to put this up because we love celebrating victories. And Winnie B put this in here, down 38 pounds since June last year. That's freaking
wonderful.
awesome, Winnie B. Thank you so much for sharing.
Wonderful.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And are we going to see you at the Dancing with the Stars Tri-Cities? I believe you're heavily involved over there, and I'm pumped to go to this year's show. I think it's actually coming up really soon.
I'm not sure when it is. That's a fun night.
That's like one of my favorite nights of the year. Okay, I see here. Thank you, Bianca. Okay, let me figure that out. Over the next 30 minutes, I will figure out exactly the July 4th special. All right, Winnie B. Winnie B is judging this year. Again, that's amazing. That's amazing. I can't wait to see it. Anna's going to be in it. I'm going to be pulling for her. Okay, we're going to live questions. If you have a question for Doc, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to get to every single one tonight. And we'll get started with Luann here. What would your top recommendations for diet and nutrition be for someone who has a total cholesterol of 307, 252 LDL? We're figuring out, looking more into this with testing, NMR, lipid profile, etc. Seems Luann's going to meet with Robin soon. Super cool. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have familial type 2 hypercholesterolemia. It's nothing you're doing or eating. Your liver's just cranking out a lot of cholesterol. That's just genetic for sure. Really, as far as diet and nutrition, there's no way you're going to get that down with diet and nutrition. At least it'd be a miracle if it did. And I do believe in miracles, but certainly it'd be very, very difficult and maybe not even healthy to try to, go on a low. I don't like low cholesterol diets. First of all, it doesn't freak me out, to see a cholesterol level that high. When I got out of medical school 40 some years ago, anything under 300 was normal. And now, this ratcheted it down. But anyway, I look at all the other factors, risk factors for heart disease. And I'm sure you've tried statins, or somebody's tried to put you on a statin. You may not have wanted to take one. But I look at all the other risk factors for heart disease. Definitely get a CT calcium scoring, which I want to tell you a very interesting story that I had. I don't think I've told this yet recently about a guy with a very high calcium scoring. Have I talked about that during this Q&A session? Yeah, I'll talk about this in a minute because it's super fascinating. But in any event, there's medicines that can do it. There are new there's a new type of medicine. One of them is called Repatha that doesn't have the side effects of a statin. But the only way you're going to get it down is probably, if you want to get it down, and I may want to get it down depending on your risk factors. But I don't think the natural stuff is probably going to get it down to normal. And again, what's normal? That's an irregular definition. So, and the ones I like, of course, are berberine. I like the tocopherols. I like alpha lipoic acid. I like hawthorn as far as some of the supplemental things that we use. And I would just look at maybe just even a Mediterranean diet, but definitely don't get on a low cholesterol diet because, again, if you quit eating the good fats, your liver is just going to crank out more cholesterol. There's just a mechanism, an enzyme that's genetic with you that doesn't shut off that system. But look at the other risk factors like smoking, hypertension, diabetes, and being overweight, lack of exercise, all that. So that doesn't freak me out too much. I'm sure 99% of doctors are going to want to put you on something, maybe even me, depending on your risk factors. But in any event, get a CT calcium scoring and look at that, see how much calcium plaque is in or around your coronary arteries. But the story I wanted to tell you about the CT calcium scoring was I had a very interesting new patient that came to see me a few weeks ago and had a lot of risk factors for heart disease. I mean, a ton of risk factors. So I ran a CT calcium scoring on him, and his level was 6,600. I've never even heard of a level that high. The cardiologist group that I sent him to had never heard of a level that high. So immediately, I sent him to a cardiologist, and for a catheterization. And sure enough, they cathed him the next day, thinking, he's going to need a 4-vessel bypass. He had totally clear coronary arteries. There was no blockage.
Really?
So that calcium was not inside his coronary vessels. So a couple lessons here. Number one, that isn't an all-be-all test. It's an estimation, and they really can't tell if that calcium's in or outside of your coronary arteries. It may be just around that area. And again, he still has a lot of risk factors that we're modulating, but so don't freak out. I have people freak out because they have a CT calcium score of 200. Anything that's not perfect is 0. So take it with a grain of salt. It's a good test, but that just showed me that, wow. I had actually had a friend several months ago that came to me and had some risk factors like smoking, and his number was around 1,400. And next week he was getting a quadruple bypass at Vanderbilt. So, I felt for sure this guy would be, but interesting. You see stuff in medicine all the time that it doesn't quite make sense, but take that for what it's worth.
That is super interesting. Luann, I hope that helps. Such an amazing way to start the show. We're going to keep moving. I want to go to Instagram real quick. I'm going to get to positive vibes. I can't put the words on the screen from Instagram, but I'm just going to kind of audibly get this out there for you, Doc. Positive vibes, taking 100 milligrams testosterone cypionate, 1,500 IU of HCG 3 times a week, and 50 milligrams of Clomid daily. Is it possible to conceive? So it seems like they're on TRT, taking Clomid, and the questions around conception.
Definitely. You got to get a sperm count, though. I mean, that's the way to tell. I mean, you're on everything you can. As you know, testosterone can suppress it, but the others, HCG and Clomid, are going to increase it. So yeah, just get a sperm count. I order them all the time.
All right. Positive vibes. I hope you're still there.
And talk to Robin. If you're having a problem with fertility, talk to Robin Riddle. He's amazing. She'll follow your FSH, your LH levels. A lot of that is very, very helpful, but get a sperm count.
And it seems they're on 100 milligrams weekly TRT. Sperm count was 15,000.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. Positive vibes. Hope that helps. Thank you for being over there on Instagram. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between the two here, the two screens. Let's see here. My next question. If you have a question, guys, go ahead and put it in the comments for us.
That's not a high sperm count. And look at the motility and all this stuff with it too. But again, our fertility experts, Robin, really.
Yeah. Positive vibes. Have you watched the? I think we did one on sperm DNA with Robin. We did a little series there on functional fertility, and a lot of it was around the guys and things that the guys can do. Maybe start with the sperm DNA episode. If you search for sperm DNA, Robin Riddle, it'll show up. It's an episode we did on explain this. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to Brandy on YouTube. What would you recommend for a teenager with T3 levels in the lower range? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's a good question because, if you commit them to taking thyroid medication, then, it's usually going to be a lifelong thing unless they've got some other confounders going along with it. But, a lot of it to me would be whether they have symptoms of low thyroid. Like being really tired, fatigue, weight gain, cold hands and feet, lower body temperature. The body temperature is really more important to me than about any lab test. Hair loss, um, you know, um, constipation, loss of lateral third of your eyebrows, really dry skin. So there's a lot of symptoms. But what I'd probably do is also I'd repeat it. Any lab that may be off, always repeat it. And I would definitely check a TPO to make sure she doesn't have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is the most common reason for low thyroid. I'll feel the thyroid. Sometimes I'll get a scan of the thyroid, ultrasound to look at that. If there's any family history of hypothyroidism, Hashimoto, she may be a candidate to develop that. Look at the symptoms, follow it, get some more detailed tests like a TPO and maybe a reverse T3. I still look at the T4, of course, the TSH, sometimes antithyroid globulin antibodies. Look at the gut too. I mean, most of these autoimmune diseases start in the gut, so make sure they're getting not a teenage diet, but a good diet, because I certainly think that poor diet and leaky gut can really tip you over into full-fledged Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, these treatments. So first thing, clean up the diet, look at a healthy gut, and go from there. That's a really good case. Follow it. Don't necessarily pop her on something for sure, but make sure you're seeing a good functional medicine practitioner and you're completely working it up instead of saying, no, you're in the normal range like most doctors do. Sometimes it's a tip off, you may be headed towards, a problem. So good case.
Brady, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for putting that question in there. Love talking about the thyroid. I'm going to put this up from Coal Miner's Daughter because I'm excited about this one too. I know you guys recorded this recently, so I'm excited about this coming out. I think it's going to come out Tuesday on MCAS. And goodness, I've already forgotten about what that stands for. What's that stand for?
Mast cell activation syndrome.
Dang it. I was gonna try to look smart there, Coal Miner's Daughter. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That comes out Tuesday. All right, let's keep moving. Where am I at? Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for a question. Lots of great comments. If I've missed you, let me know. Let's do from Donna and Steve here. How many milligrams a day of berberine, dihydroberberine do you take a day, and what time is best? The one I have says 1 a day, and it's 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
What you're saying here for Donna?
200 milligram is the usual dose of dihydroberberine. You don't have to take, if you take berberine hydrochloride, it's not as good. It's not absorbed as well, and you have to use a lot higher doses and take it 3 times a day. But that's a once a day medicine usually. But if you're trying to lose weight, pop it up to 2 a day, 30 minutes before the 2 major meals that you eat a day. So good question.
Thank you, Donna and Steve. Seems Brandy upping vitamin D and vitamin B12 with folate as a response for the thyroid question. Thank you.
Always look at get a Cleveland, look at all your vitamin levels and your nutritional status, your fatty acid levels. Great comment.
All right, let's go to Winnie B on YouTube. Winnie B, can NASH disease ever be reversed? Doc, you might have to clue me in on what NASH disease is.
Well, we call it, the short name of it is non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, but it's fatty liver is what it is. And yes, it can be reversed with the new GLP-1 agonist and the GLP-1 combined with the GIP. In other words, Ozempic, Mounjaro. Tremendous results for reversing those. And even some of the, sodium glucose transporters like Farxiga are pretty good at that too. But I really love the results that we're seeing from Ozempic and Mounjaro. I mean, just amazing results from that. Yes, they can. First thing I'd pop you on is something like that.
And Winnie B, I believe that there was an episode we did around Ozempic. It was with now I'm missing the name, but with someone who's been on Ozempic for a while, and you guys, it was you and her, and you talked about it helping with fatty liver. So if you search for Ozempic and performance medicine on YouTube, you'll have 4 or 5 videos to look at, and with Ozempic, we're meaning, semaglutide, tirzepatide, Mounjaro, the whole gamut. Thank you, Winnie B, for that. Let's see here if I'm missing people's question. Okay, we already got to that one. Let's see if this is from Allison. Carbidopa, doctor, tell me what that eating protein interferes with the absorption of carbidopa, levodopa. Okay, so it seems that a doctor has told Allison that eating protein interferes with the absorption of carbidopa, levodopa, which I believe is an Alzheimer's medication.
No. It's a Parkinson's medication.
Parkinson's. Okay.
But hey, Allison, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's the most common medicine we use for Parkinson's. Yeah, the problem is I've read that too, and I just throw it in the bunk trash house because I think people need more protein. If they tell you just don't take it with your protein, fine. But, I've never seen that it makes any difference at all. I want people to have more protein, especially as you age and lose muscle. So again, it may be your neurologist telling you that, probably is. You need to take the recommendations, but it may be that just space it out from your protein meals. But I hate to say you don't need any protein because you do for sure. One thing you could do is take the perfect aminos because they're already digested, all the 8 essential amino acids, very absorbable. And that, again, take that. That's got a fair amount of protein and all the essentials. So, but if your neurologist doesn't want you to, just don't take it around the same time you take your carbidopa, levodopa. So, but great question. Great question.
When you say don't take it with, you mean like 2 hours, at least 2 hours apart? Okay.
Yeah. I usually go 2 hours before, 2 hours after. Yeah.
Okay.
In general for that, and I'll do a little more researching on that, Allison, to maybe maybe something I don't know, but you do need protein. I know that.
Allison, I hope that helps. Thank you for putting that question in here. I'm going to put this up from Coal Miner's Daughter. Dropping spinach out of my diet definitely helped my stomach. I was eating it every day. That's super interesting. Timely with they're referring to the episode on oxalates. Thank you for putting that in there. Okay. Let's see where I'm at. If I'm missing somebody. Okay, let's go to, there we go, SIBO. Thank you, Luann. I did a SIBO test as we are figuring out stomach issues, and my methane levels were high. I was prescribed an antibiotic. Are there any natural supplements that you would recommend instead? So this is for SIBO. Okay.
Treating SIBO can be really complex. Robin Riddle is our expert on that too. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And that's why, it's pretty common that that's what you have, and that's why your methylene levels are high. A lot of gas, bloating, that type of thing. Antibiotics are usually what people use for it, like rifampin and some of those. Rifaximin. But we had an interesting conversation about this at the last functional medicine clinic I was at, and the SIBO expert we talked to just likes to treat it with a great diet. She doesn't like to use antibiotics. And again, hopefully you're getting your GI map and looking at all the other stuff. SIBO is just one aspect of it that you may have, like yeast. You could have that. You could have all kinds of, microbiome disruptions and different kind of pathogens in there, parasites, all kinds of things. But definitely get a GI map. And, one thing, oxalates are one thing you want to cut out, since we did the episode on oxalates today. But again, the problem with using these antibiotics, a lot of times it just doesn't clear them. And the dietary thing, I like L-glutamine, I like colostrum. Sometimes I'll use binders in there that will kind of bind up some of the stuff and carry it on out. It's a prebiotics, probiotics. But get a GI map and look at the whole picture. Your gut problem, maybe not just due to SIBO, but get on a really clean, no sugar, as little of the ultra processed food as you can get, and try to heal your gut first. I like BPC 157 a lot too, and anything to heal the gut and eat a good diet. Again, I'm not against using some antibiotics when needed. They may be needed. I don't know how severe it is. And that was kind of the gold standard treatment, but it's a little more complex than that. So go look at some of Robin's episodes on SIBO. I'm pretty sure she's done a few.
And what I'll do, I'm going to put this up from Roel because it's kind of timely. That's where I was going to go as well. If you guys haven't checked out the episode where Dr. Rogers and Andy, my brother, talked about kind of what they learned from this recent functional medicine conference.
Yeah.
And this was one that stood out to me. And getting back to what Luann was saying, the diverse diet thing kind of stood out to me. You guys talking about the importance of having a diverse diet. But Roel saying here, the 15 grams of whey protein, I think, before a meal.
Yeah. That was really interesting. That was one of the takeaways I got from the conference was if you take 15 grams, they like whey protein, but before about 15 minutes before a meal, you'll avoid those glucose spikes. And I just got finished with using my Dexcom continuous glucose monitor a few days ago. I really learned a lot about what spikes my sugar up. And sometimes that's the second time I've done it. It's really interesting. But yeah, I think that probably calms down those spikes a lot. And you'll probably eat less and spike less. You'll probably lose weight and, probably very, very good for you. The other thing I'll tell you, after you eat, go for just a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
That's another good thing that I try to do.
You know what? I thank you, Roel, for putting that in there, and Luann, thank you so much. We appreciate you back. Thank you so much. That 10 minutes is 1,000 steps. So to get to your 10,000, coming up with little 10-minute walks throughout the day, and you can pretty easily get to your 10,000. Let's see here. Let's get to, I want to get to Betty, and then I'll get to, I want to get Winnie B's because I love a type 1 question. What is the best way to get more protein when you can only eat small amounts of food? This is from Betty on Facebook, and such a good question. We talk a lot about this for, the people who are on a GLP-1. What's your thoughts on this?
What I've started doing is, because I don't think hardly anybody eats enough protein. I like these. I've developed a taste for grass-fed beef jerky that's not flavored. When I get a little hungry, I need more protein, I just pop one of those. I also do Perfect Aminos. So yeah, I really do like, hey, can you get that beef jerky that I take? And I want to show you the one I take because it's grass fed. It tastes great. I usually don't even like beef jerky. That's some of the ways I do it. And a lot of times I'll make a protein smoothie. Whey is not my most favorite. I like the pea protein. mixed with some bovine protein, that one you got me that unfortunately has a little bit of something in it.
Yeah, what was that? It was like
It was a sweetener
erythritol.
that I didn't, no, it wasn't
Angie pointed out, I think.
soy I do not like, but yeah, it's one of the artificial, but it's very
Yeah.
little bit. It wasn't stevia. It's probably sucralose, but in any event, so I'll do that. And, if you can't eat a lot of time, just, space it out. I'm glad you don't eat too much at a time. But I found this great beef jerky that I ordered off Amazon. It's not cheap, but it's Archer's.
Carter put up an Amazon link, guys. This is what he's referring to as this link. That's a long link.
That's a long list.
Thank you, Carter.
But here's what I've started.
Yeah.
Eating. I love it.
Yeah.
Of course, here's the advanced amino powder that I take.
Yeah.
Just like Perfect Amino is a little different, but that's what I get. So,
And also Roel puts a great point. The Magic Spoon cereal is also good for protein. That's one of the few cereals that I know we've talked about that isn't super bad for
there's
you.
one called 3 Wishes that sometimes I'll get. I just don't eat cereal anymore. Really.
Let's get to Karen's question here. Then I'm going to go to let's see here, to Winnie B after that. Okay, Karen is saying, what's your opinion of dairy in the diet? Trying to add more protein, lower carbs / sugar, but not seeing results.
I don't like dairy. It could. I don't like dairy. When somebody's having issues with either weight loss or gut problems, I usually tell them to cut out sugar, glutens, and dairy. Those are my big 3. Now, sometimes some fermented cheese is fine, but I just don't think it digests well. I really don't, unless you're drinking raw milk or goat's milk or something. But great question. Yeah, try cutting dairy out. See what happens, and take your digest shield for sure.
Yeah. All right, Karen, thank you for putting that in there. Let's go to Winnie B around the type 1 question. I know you have extensive experience with type 1 diabetics. My husband has macular edema to the point of almost being blind now. Man, are there any recommendations you have to help with this?
Well, besides, getting extremely tight control of type 1 diabetes, see a good retina specialist, because we're seeing a lot more retinopathy in diabetics than we used to see. But now that we have all these great, better medicines, continuous glucose monitors, insulin pumps, and even it's off label, but I treat a lot of type 1s with Ozempic and Mounjaro. It's kind of off label. A lot of the endos do it as well. You just have to really lower your dose of your insulin that you take, which is a good thing. If you're having that kind of macular edema, please make sure you are really being seen by a good retinal specialist. And just get good tight control of your type 1 diabetics. But as far as any supplements or anything, I don't, I think that's probably you need more heavy hitters than that. Something that's out of my league.
Winnie B, I hope that helps a little bit. Be thinking about your husband. But thank you so much for putting that question in there. I'm going to put this up. Let's get to, I saw another one that I must have skipped over. I'll find it. I will find it. Okay, Winnie being saying he has an appointment with a retinal specialist in JC, Endo, and got it. Okay, so he's wanting Ozempic. Yeah,
I would do it. Some people just don't, anything that isn't exactly by the guidelines they won't do, but a lot of the endos will do it as well. So it's definitely not out of the question that he could have some, unless he's had a history of pancreatitis or medullary cancer of the thyroid, which is rare as hen's teeth. But unless he has some kind of previous problems with pancreatitis, and the reason they don't want to use it. But it is off label, but it's commonly done, especially if he's overweight. Sometimes type 1s get overweight later in life. They develop a type 2 on top of type 1.
I'm going to put this up because I'm interested, Ivy. What is raw milk? Is there such a thing as raw milk? what is that? They're stripped of all the sugar and stuff like that?
No, it's not. It's not homogenized. Comes straight from the cow.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
Some people
Thank
say
you.
it's illegal, but it doesn't stop you from drinking it. But yeah, you have to get it from a farmer that hopefully on grass-fed cows and all that. But yeah, do your research on raw milk. Goat's milk's great too.
Let's see here. I know that Don and Steve had a clarification question. Did I get the right berberine and dihydro? I wanted to tell
Yes.
Dr. Oz I had one of the red herring blood tests. He may not remember, but tell him I have been eating lots of red herring. Okay.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. That's why your cholesterol's up. You're eating too much red herring. That's it. That's what Dr. Rogers said. That's a great one. I love it.
And you are right with the dihydro.
Yeah.
Dihydro.
Yeah. I think that's the best form.
Thank you, Don and Steve. Okay. Tom, thank you so much for this comment. Try Fairlife. It's stripped of lactose and less sugar. I've heard good things about Fairlife. Let's get Luann has one about nutrition. Luann, we appreciate your questions. Thank you so much for putting these in here. Any diet / nutrition recommendations for gout?
Yeah. Unlike what I would tell most people, you need to probably avoid eating too much red meat. Also, seafood can, kind of flare gout up a lot. Alcohol can surely do it. Those are the biggies: shellfish, alcohol, red meat, and also starving yourself or eating too much at one time can flare it up. Get your uric acid levels checked. And, if they're really high, you probably need a little bit of allopurinol on a daily basis because gout's not a lot of fun. That's very painful. But great question.
Thank you, Luann, for putting that in there. I hope that helps a little bit. Edna on Facebook is asking, what is methylene blue for? And I'm just going to go ahead and say this, Edna. What is methylene blue not for? That's
I know.
There we go. Oh, we got some dogs in here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, team.
Just don't let your dogs eat the methylene blue. That's the only thing I'll tell you. But yeah, methylene blue it's a great question because it's for a lot of different things. It's been around for 150 years. It was really the first recognized antibiotic, the first recognized anti-parasite drug. It's a precursor to hydroxychloroquine. But you'll hear about it used in the ERs for intravenously for when somebody comes in with carbon monoxide poisoning. It's the only thing that will save their life, and it will quickly, or cyanide poisoning. But, it just improves oxygenation. It helps focus. It prevents UTIs in a lot of cases, not every one of them. It's just we use it for so many different things. Go to my episode on methylene blue. It's one of the most watched episodes we had on our Outside the Box. But there's a saying among doctors when they are with a crashing patient, somebody that's dying on you, or that's really, you don't know what to do with their septic, when you're not sure what to do, reach for the methylene blue. It's a common statement among a lot of doctors, a lot of ER docs. But still, you'd be surprised that some doctors don't even realize the potential of this stuff. But a lot of people just use it for focus and for being alert.
Put this up here for Carter.
Use it pre-workout. What's that?
That's my methylene blue cup. It's nothing like Carter's methylene blue cup is like legendary. Mine's getting there.
She's a believer.
But yeah, keep going because I see Tobias has questions around methylene blue, and Edna's asking if we do have it in the office. We have the drop form on our website. We have the tablet form.
Yeah, and I always take it with some vitamin C. It makes the absorption better. The tablet form does have the vitamin C in it, so yeah, try it. I mean, it's safe. It works. For most people that we put on it, most people really like it.
Let's get Tobias up here because one, I'm probably just a huge fan of Tobias. I'm a fan of anyone who sings at Christ Fellowship because I think they're amazing.
Me too. Me
Huge
too.
shout out to Jason. Tips for healing
Including
acid
Jenny, who
reflux.
plays. Jenny plays and sings there too. I'm a fan of hers. For that.
Tips for healing acid reflux. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, gosh, it's so common to get acid reflux. What you eat and drink is mostly responsible for it, unless you have a pretty bad hiatal hernia. But and 50% of Americans have at least a small hiatal hernia. That's so sure your stomach's pushing up above your diaphragm a little bit, or in some cases a lot. But yeah, I mean, just avoid foods that can cause it, like coffee, alcohol, citrus things, chocolate, especially dark chocolate. Don't eat and lay down. Sleep with a little bit of elevation in the head of your bed. And I'm not against using medicines for it. I don't like the PPIs long term, like omeprazole, but I'm certainly not against something like Pepcid when you need it. I have heartburn occasionally, especially on extreme exertion with exercise, or if I drink too much coffee or chocolate really hits it for me. So occasionally I'll pop a Pepcid Complete in there. I think Digest-Shield helps it too. I'll put somebody on that today for reflux. Just don't get into the trap of taking Prilosec every day for the rest of your life because you're cutting all the acid out in your stomach, which you need. Some people have too much acid. A lot of people don't have enough acid. So do the betaine test we talk about.
Yeah.
Get some betaine and see if that really immediately burns you up. You probably have too much acid. If it doesn't, after 2 or 3 of them, you probably don't have enough and you need to take some before you eat. But really take a detailed history of what you're eating and drinking. And I think the artificial sweeteners exacerbate it as well. But if you have severe chronic problems with it, you need a scope to make sure you don't have, Barrett's esophagus or something like EOS, that you have too many eosinophils in your esophagus, but which ties into MCAS a little bit. But yeah.
Tobias, will you stay on here? Because what I'll do is I'll link, I'll put in the links on YouTube, an article we wrote on the betaine test, so you know what that is and how you can do that. Tobias is asking, would you know if you had a hiatal hernia from the pain? Would you know, or is this something that could be kind of?
Not really. You'd have to have an X-ray
Okay.
or barium swallow or an EGD, a scope test.
All right, Tobias, I hope that helps a little bit. I see my brother Ryan's in here. Ryan, huge shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We talked a little bit about NMN last week, so I need to talk with you about it. It's super interesting and around longevity. And I was surprised at what you said, how early you should be taking it, concerned with, the longevity stuff with NAD plus and stuff. Love you, Ryan. Let's get to this. I love this from Dave. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with 3 ounces of water heals my acid reflux before every meal. Thank you, Dave.
Great point. Yeah, I don't know why I missed that. I love it. I love it. That's another thing you could substitute in place of the whey protein. 15 grams is just a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar mixed in with water. It works pretty good. It's natural. It's good for you. Also may help your arthritis. So,
thank you, Dave. I'm going to put this up for Ryan, one, because he's my man, and I love you for putting this in here. And what is your thoughts, Doc, on NMN? We talked a little bit last week. Is there a safe brand you like? Kind of give us what your thoughts are.
I don't have a brand that I really prefer on that. NMN and NR, nicotinamide riboside. I take the NR. They're both precursors to NAD+. They're supposed to help with cellular senescence and clearing out cellular debris and helping maybe with your aging telomeres. But they're both, they're controversial. They're taking NMN off the market because the FDA doesn't like it because it works. But I probably shouldn't say that on the air. But but it's also used as an investigational drug. They're doing trials with it, and to make it into a prescription medicine. So that's why I include this NR in my longevity formula. But they're both precursors to NAD plus, and it seems like the precursors at this point. There's some NAD plus products out there too, but most people think that you need to take the precursors. So I'm big on them. I mean, I think for the most part they're good. Sinclair really likes NMN. He's the Harvard longevity expert. Atia is, I really like him above all other podcasters in the field of longevity. He's a real credible guy. But he's from Stanford and Hopkins. He's a cancer surgeon. He's the studier of studies, what I say. But anyway, he is not. He thinks they're okay. He's not really bullish on either one of them. He doesn't think they're in the class of something like rapamycin. So I don't even know if you can get NMN legally off Amazon. I know you can off Amazon. You won't get them, but it's still sold in health food stores. So you may want to take their advice on the particular brand, because I don't really have a preference with that, to be honest with you.
All right. I hope that helps, man. I want to get to one. I want to put this up because I know the YouTube people can't see the Facebook comments. Dr. Sammons is saying, thank you, Denise, so much for being in here with us. Heard the question about acid reflux. We've resolved every single case of GERD by giving pancreatic enzymes and doing a parasite cleanse. We find that parasites attack the valves, which allows the acid to come up. This combo has never failed us. So cool. Thank you, Denise, for putting this in here.
Thank you.
We love you for being in here. Thank you so much.
That's why I put that lady on Digestial today, because it does have pancreatic enzymes. We go to that. Those parasite cleanse work. Look at what Andy and Margot went through with theirs, and I think they did a Cellcore parasite cleanse, and it was pretty effective. Not a lot of people want to go through that, but it's not a quick process, but that is interesting.
All right, let's get one or two more in here, and then we're going to call it a night. See if I can find Ryan. I think was it Peter Attia you mentioned? I think it was Dr. Peter Attia. Yeah. Dr. Peter Attia, and then Luann has this one around berberine for cholesterol. Is the berberine on your site one that would be good, and what the dose, if so?
Yeah, once a day, for maintenance. But if you're trying to lose weight, take it twice a day.
Let's get in this one, Mark. I know this is a tough one here, so we won't get too much into this. Just around insulin and okay, so rising drugstores in America hitting insulin hard. West Virginia patients are rationing their insulin. What tips for type 1 diabetic patients in insulin shortage? Thoughts on backup plans? Any kind of short thoughts on this, Bob?
You just pray that it won't happen. There's so many diabetic people out there that depend on insulin for their lives. I mean, including two of my kids. So, again, I'm not a real alarmist. I'm, you always ought to have enough supply. Like when Andy, he's in Paris now, and he certainly took a lot with him, enough to last him for a month or more, probably 2 months. So just keep a lot on hand.
Yeah.
And again, the better you eat, the less insulin you have to take. You always have to take it if you're a type 1. There's no cure at this point. But just cross your fingers that, that kind of thing won't happen. But it's certainly there's a lot of shortages now.
Yeah. Mark, thank you so much for putting that in there. It is something that, I know is on a lot of people's minds, including ours. So thank you so much for putting that in there. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna call it an evening, guys. I think I got to most of them. How did we do? All vitamin questions. We will stay tuned. We're gonna run a special on July 4th. Stay tuned to our all of our social channels. We'll be doing a % off that whole day. Performancemedicine.net/shop. I'm gonna put this up so you guys can get to it. There you go. But don't do it yet because you'll get a discount on July 4th. I definitely need to run this by Katie. So Katie, if you're watching, I apologize. I'll have to strategize with you on how to handle it. But thank you so much, guys, for checking that out. The vitamins are one of the best ways to support the show. So we appreciate you. Doc, man, thank you so much. We did well. Okay. Jerry's giving us a 10.
Thank you.
Tom's saying we're awesome. Connie Lynn, there we go. I love you guys.
It's been fun.
Pop, thank you, ma'am. We're
you,
going to
man.
head out. I hope
Hope you have a
wonderful-
great 4th. I hope you have a great 4th of July to everybody.
Yeah, it's almost the 4th. To everyone on our team, we had quite a few people on our team here tonight. I hope you guys have such a blessed week and weekend. Enjoy the rest. You guys deserve it. Ike enjoys the rest.
Yeah.
He deserves it also.
He'll have a good 4th.
Tabitha, I love you. Sherry, thank you. Is Izzy coming on? Oh, there's Todd.
No,
There's
this is
Andy's
Todd.
dog.
This is Andy's dog, Todd. We're keeping Todd right now while Andy's with Harris.
Look at Todd. Todd's a cutie.
He's a good dog.
He is a good dog. He's a good. I saw him sitting on the couch.
He's a great dog. Izzy wants a turn. Let's get Izzy up here, and then we'll call it a night.
Bye, Todd.
There you go, Todd. Come here, Izzy.
Thank you, Bianca. I hope you have a wonderful 4th.
Izzy's
Thank you,
getting
Ivy.
heavy. I think I need to put Izzy on a little Ozempic, to be honest with you. She weighs more than Ike does now.
There's Izzy.
There she is. All
I
right.
love it. Yes, Ryan, for sure. For sure. I'll see you next week. We need to go to Holy Land.
Happy 4th, Ben.
Happy 4th, Pop. Love you, man. Thank you so much.
You too.
All
Bye-bye.
right. We'll see you next time. Guys, we love you. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 7 to 8. Stay tuned for the vitamin discount. It'll be on all the socials. You'll see it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. And then I'm going to try to find my outro for everybody. All right. See you guys.
Don't go away.